Hi everyone, I'm Katrina, and in this video, let's go over how to create a responsive e-commerce website using WordPress and the free WordPress e-commerce theme by WooThemes called My Style. In addition to creating a responsive e-commerce website using the free My Style theme, we'll also be focused in this video on how to create an ebook store that has similar functionality as Scribd.com. So if you're not familiar with Scribd.com, Scribd is a digital library where people can publish, discover, and read books of all kinds on the web or on any mobile device. So in this video, we'll be creating our own version of Scribd.com using WordPress and a plugin called Google Doc Embedder, and I'll show you in this video how to configure everything and how to set it up. So I received this request to create a video focused on creating an ebook store website from James, so thank you, James, for this great suggestion. I'm sure there are many others out there who are also looking to sell ebooks and other downloadable products on the web. So this video is for all of you. So let's take a quick look around the responsive e-commerce website we'll be building in this video. So here we are on the home page of the responsive e-commerce website we'll be building in this video, and we can see at the top on the left we have the website name and a short tagline. You can also include your logo if you'd like in this area. Then on the right hand side you'll have your menu navigation area, and just above that you'll have some different online store e-commerce features, including the checkout button and a really cool box here where anyone can easily search for products in your product catalog. Now I also want to note that we don't see it right up here, but this particular theme also comes with an additional menu navigation area right here. So if you'd like to include that, you'll have an additional area where you can add more menu navigation items. So I prefer having a really minimalist type of website, so the focus of attention is pretty much only on the product. So I try and keep my menu navigation items here really simple, one words, and if at all possible, I try not to have two menu areas, but of course if you want to include that, you will have another option here to include more menu navigation items right here above the title or the logo. Okay, so just underneath this header area, then you'll have this full width image, so you can feature a full width image on your home page, and along with that you can include a title which pretty much summarizes what your website is about. So in this particular demo, I am going to be building a hypothetical e-commerce website for a digital library, an ebook online store focused on yoga and surfing ebooks. So here's my title right here: Welcome to the best digital library of ebooks on yoga and surfing on the interwebs. So of course you can include whatever title you would like here as well. Just underneath this title section and the image, you'll have some product categories, so you can add all of your different product categories here. And the good news about this particular theme is that if you prefer not to feature product categories on the home page, this whole section can be removed and easily turned off, easily disabled. Okay, so just under the product categories, then we have our featured products. And as we can see here, the featured products for this hypothetical ebook store include thumbnail images of all the different ebooks that I'll be offering in my product catalog. So we see those are all right here. Then underneath the featured products, you'll have your footer, and in the footer you can add whatever kind of customizable content you'd like. In this example, we see that I'm including some common pages that most people are interested in checking out, including the About page, the blog, a contact page, a frequently asked questions page, press coverage page, and then of course the shop page. Then I'll also include in this demo the social icons so anyone can easily connect with you on the social web, either via Facebook or Google+, Twitter, YouTube, or some other social network. And then finally on the right hand side, it's always a good idea whenever you have a website, whether it's an e-commerce website or a business website or a personal website, it's always a good idea to start capturing email addresses of your visitors so that you can stay in touch with them on a more regular basis via email. So I'll show you how you can set up this sign-up form in this video. So let's take a quick look at what one of the product pages will look like when we're done this particular e-commerce online store. So I'm going to scroll down here, and Here we see, here's one of my featured products, the Yoga Stretches for Beginners ebook. So I'm going to click on this particular item. And now we're on the product page of this particular ebook. So you'll note that on the left-hand side, you'll have a large product image of your product. And when I click on this image, it will open up into a really nice light box display so anyone can more easily see the image of your product. Just next to the product image, you'll have your product title, the price, a short product description, and then of course, the most important thing on this page, the add to cart call to action button. Then just below this section, you'll have your product description and your reviews. And note that here in the product description box, this time we're going to add this Google Doc Embedder plugin so that the display of the PDF of your ebook can be displayed. So perhaps you may want to share with anyone who's checking out this particular product a section or a part of the ebook in order to encourage them to buy the whole thing. So for example, if you just want to share with them the first chapter, you can do so by embedding the PDF or the doc in this particular plugin view right here so anyone can easily scroll around. They can also enlarge it by clicking on this zoom in button right here. You can see it gets larger. Or they can reduce the zoom by just clicking on this button. If there's more than one page, they'll have the left and the right buttons right here. And then finally, they can click on this button here to open the entire PDF or document in a new window. Just underneath the embedded document, then you'll also have a link here where anyone can download this particular section or this particular document. So again, note that we're just including chapter 1 as a motivator for anyone to actually buy the entire ebook right here. So this particular feature will include an embedded document in the product description and then a link here where anyone can download the section of the PDF you're including in this embedded document right here. Just underneath the product description, you'll also have some related products, so you can cross-sell or upsell other related products with the product above. And then finally below that, we'll have the footer, once again, with all of the customizable content. So here we are on the product page. Let's go through the actual shopping experience that a potential customer would have when they want to buy an ebook on your site. So first they would come to the product page and they would click on Add to Cart to add the product to their shopping cart. And then here on their shopping cart, they'll see a thumbnail image of the ebook that they're ordering, the ebook title, the price, the quantity, and the total. And then down below, they'll also see their cart total. So they'll see their subtotal, and keeping in mind this is an ebook, so upon payment, they'll have an automatic download. So there is no shipping attached to this, so the shipping is free. And the order total is $10. Now, if they also wanted to add on top of the ebook a physical product, let's see how that will work. I'm going to go to the shop page, click on shop, and then I'm going to click on this t-shirt to purchase this t-shirt. And we see here, just as we saw with the ebook, you'll have a thumbnail image of the product, the physical product on the left-hand side, which opens up into a really nice light box display. Then you'll have the product title, the price, a short excerpt or description, and then you'll see here are the product attributes and variations. So for example, when I click on small, you'll see this particular t-shirt comes in a number of different sizes, small, medium, and large, so I can choose whichever size I want, and I'll show you in the video how to set up the different attributes for a particular product. And then scrolling down, you'll see that instead of having the embedded document, PDF or other document right here, now I just have a simple product description about the t-shirt as well as additional information which refers to the different attributes and sizes that this product comes in. And finally, when you do have reviews, those will show up here in the Reviews tab right here. So I am going to add this particular t-shirt, this physical product, to the cart by clicking on Add to Cart. And once again, here we see the message, okay, this t-shirt was successfully added to your cart. So you can click on this button here to view the cart. So I'm going to click on View Cart. And now we see we have two products in the cart, both the ebook as well as the t-shirt. So the t-shirt is $40, and when I scroll down, now we see the cart subtotal is $50, $10 for the ebook, $40 for the t-shirt, and also note I have a flat rate shipping here of free. So I have set these two products up. I've set the shipping for the ebook to be free because it's a free download. There's no shipping. And I've also set up the shipping for the t-shirt to be free shipping as well. Now, if you'd like the t-shirt or the physical product to actually have a shipping price, I'll show you in this video how you can set one product to have one shipping price and another product, especially the ebook, to have no shipping since it's a downloadable product. Also note that there's this coupon box here where you can apply a coupon to your order or to specific products. So I'll show you in the video how to set up coupons. I have a really simple cart coupon here called Summer Fun. So I'm going to apply the coupon by entering it in and clicking on Apply Coupon. Okay, great. So we see the coupon code was applied successfully. So when I scroll down, now we see that the cart subtotal is $50, shipping is free, and I have this new $5 discount of $5. So the order total is $45. So the next step is a customer would just click on Proceed to Checkout to go to the checkout page. And here on the checkout page, they can simply fill in their billing address and their shipping address, and then scroll down, check the details of their order, and then they can click on Place Order to check out and pay for their order. Now note that right here we see I have set up this online e-commerce store with PayPal, just because PayPal is the easiest and fastest payment method to set up in this website. But of course, if you want to have some other kind of payment method, you can set up some other kind of payment method, and I'll show you how to do that as well in this video. Now note that if you do set the online store to be set up with PayPal, then a potential customer would click on Place Order. They would be sent to PayPal where they could either log into their PayPal account and pay via PayPal, or if they don't want to use PayPal or they don't have a PayPal account, they can simply log in as a guest. They do not have to have a PayPal account, and they can simply pay with their credit card or debit card for the products that they want to buy on your store. So a potential customer does not have to have a PayPal account to pay as a guest on PayPal. In addition to setting up the online store within this video, I'll also show you how to create the internal pages of your website. So for example, most likely you're going to want to include an about page about your business or about you or your team. So I'm going to click on About right here. And here we are on the About page. So I'll show you in this video how to create a full-width About page, which includes either an image or text or video or perhaps a combination of all of the above, so that you can share with the world what your website is all about. After we create the About page, we'll also create the blog index page and some blog posts. And having a blog is a really great way to start ranking in the search engines, because search engines like Google love fresh content, and having a blog gives you a really easy way to add fresh content to your website on a regular basis. So I'll show you in this video how to set up the blog, including, for example, here we see we're on the blog index page, which will list all of the different blog posts you may have, or at least a blog and then an excerpt of the post. But when I click on this particular one, for example, 10 health benefits of yoga, you'll see here I have the image for the blog post, the title. There'll be some additional information about the blog, including what category or tags it's been grouped in, as well as here is the actual blog post itself. Then just underneath the blog post, we will have some different social sharing features, so anyone who visits can easily share the content to Facebook or Google+, Twitter, or some other social network. And we'll also include this email sign-up form as well underneath each blog post. So I'll show you how to set up all of this in the video. Finally, underneath the blog post section, you see here is the comments section, and I'll show you how to set up this comment box. This is a special comment box. It's not the default comment box that comes with WordPress. It has some extra social sharing features within the actual comment box. So I'll show you how to set this up in the video. Okay, then on the right-hand side, we'll have our sidebar with customizable content, and then we'll have our contact page. So I'm going to click on Contact right here. And here you'll see you'll have just a really simple form where anyone can easily contact you directly through your website without leaving your website, just sharing their name and their email, leaving you a message, and then they can just click on submit to send you a message directly from your website. Finally, you'll note that here is the shop page, so I'll click on that right here. And here on the shop page, all of the different products in your product catalog will be featured. So if you are creating an ebook online store, all of the different thumbnail images of your ebooks will show up here. Note also that there's also, in addition to the ebooks, I've added some actual physical products. So I will show you in this video how to set up some physical products with product variations and attributes as well. Now there's two really important features that I want to point out about this specific free WordPress e-commerce theme called My Style. Number one, with this theme, this is a responsive theme, which means that this website is going to look amazing, not just on desktops and laptops, as we see here, but it's also going to look really, really nice on mobile devices, including smartphones and tablets. So if you have an Android or an iPhone or an iPad or some other kind of tablet, this particular website is going to resize to fit the new size of the device. So let's take a look at what that'll look like. Here on the bottom, I'm just going to grab this and reduce the size of the window. And you see here, as I reduce the size of the window, the entire website is changing to fit the size of the window. So here we see that the slider with the title is now no longer featured in this. This is like a smartphone version of the website. We see now the menu item has collapsed. So when I click on these three buttons, these three lines right here, then my new drop-down box will be displayed. So what we're looking at now is the view that you can expect of your website when you're on a smartphone. So you'll be able to navigate to any of the internal pages by clicking on this orange button right here with the three lines, and then note that all of the different sections of the website are now stacking up really nicely, one on top of the other. Here's our product categories. They're really easy to see. They're not too small. We scroll down, all the featured products are here. This is just a really beautiful theme for any kind of e-commerce store, whether it's an ebook online store or a product store. This is just a really gorgeous minimalist theme that is responsive, so it'll look gorgeous both on mobile devices as well as on laptops and desktops. In addition to being a responsive e-commerce theme, this theme also, the other feature I want to point out is that the colors of this particular website can be changed with one click of the button. So we see that, for example, when I hover over the website title here, it's orange. And when I hover over each of the different menu navigation items here, they're orange. And when I scroll down to the very bottom at the footer, these icons are orange as well. So this particular design here that we're looking at is the default. I actually really love the orange. I like orange for my buttons. It really stands out. But this theme also comes in other colors, I believe, like blue and yellow and green perhaps. There's quite a few colors that you can choose from, keeping in mind that the background of this theme will continue to stay white, so it'll pretty much look just like this. The only difference is that when you change the color, these different links will all change throughout the website to the color that you choose. But again, if you have a different color for the brand of your business or of your online store, then it's always a good idea to match the colors to the look and feel of your logo and your website. So you can easily do that within this theme by choosing one of the other colors that is provided within the settings of the theme. One last housekeeping issue before we jump into building out this website. I just want to point out as you're looking at the video that there's this player bar at the bottom of the video, and on the right hand side there's this gear, this circle with all these little widgets in it. When you click on this, you'll note that you have a number of other quality options to view this video in. So for the best quality of this particular video, to see everything more sharply, I recommend that you click on the 720 HD if you are able to. If you're not able to view this video in HD because of your internet connection or some other issue, then no worries. But if you can view this in HD, then this is the best version for you to choose in order to see this video in a much more crystal clear kind of way. So just a heads up on the quality options of the YouTube video. Okay, so back on the homepage of the website we'll be building in this video. This is where we are headed to right here. So let's get started. So before we get started, how much is this responsive e-commerce WordPress website going to cost? Well, we need several things. Number one, we need a domain name, and we also need web hosting. In this video, I'll be using HostGator.com, and at HostGator you can get both the domain name as well as the web hosting. I'll also be using a special discount code, WPCoupon25, to get an extra discount off of the order at HostGator. So if you decide to go with HostGator as well, be sure to use WPCoupon25 so you can also get an additional amount off of your order at HostGator. Once we have the domain name and the web hosting, we'll also need a theme. And in this video, I'm going to be using the free theme from WooThemes called My Style. My Style is a responsive e-commerce theme, and it will look amazing once again on mobile devices as well as on laptops and desktops. Finally, we'll need some time to build out the website, and I'm estimating it should take roughly around 2 hours, more or less. So please set aside at least 2 hours to go through the video to build out the website. So the total to get this responsive e-commerce website up and running is less than $25. Again, that's using the special discount code WPCoupon25 at HostGator. So what are the steps to build out the website? Well, number one, we need to get the domain name and the web hosting. Number two, we need to install WordPress. And finally, number three, we need to build out the website. So let's head on over to HostGator to take care of step number one, which is getting the domain name and the web hosting. So here we are on HostGator.com. To view the web hosting plans, go ahead and click on the button in the middle that says View Web Hosting Plans. And here we'll see that there's 3 different plans to choose from. We have the hatchling plan, the baby plan, and the business plan. If you are a small business owner or if you're just getting your website up and running for the first time, most likely the hatchling plan or the baby plan would be a good fit for you. The difference between these two is that the hatchling plan gives you a way to host one website domain, whereas the baby plan gives you a way to host as many website domains as you would like. So there's definitely more of a value in the baby plan since you can host as many websites as you would like under one account. But if you are just getting started, as mentioned, most likely you only have one domain at the moment, then you can go ahead and click on the hatchling plan to sign up for that. So I'm going to click on the baby plan because I want to order that one. And next we'll see that the next step is we need to choose a domain. If you already have a domain, you can just enter that here in this field and click on Continue to Step 2. And if you need to get a domain name for your website, then you can enter the domain name you would like here, and you can click on Continue to Step 2. Now just note that down below here it says enter a coupon code, and by default you'll automatically get a coupon from HostGator. But if you want to add even more of a reduced rate on top of that, you can use this coupon, which will give you an extra amount off of your order. So I'm going to put WP Coupon 25. That's a special coupon that you can add to get more off the total when you go to check out for your order. So I'm going to leave it at WP Coupon 25 to get a little bit more off my order, and I'm just going to put in a random domain name for the moment just to show you for the demo purpose what the next page looks like. So I'm going to click on Continue to Step 2, which brings us to Step 2, the billing information page. Now on this page, we see the first thing at the top is the package type. I had signed up for the baby plan, so we see that right here. And then we see the current billing cycle that I'm signing up for. Now, I do not want to sign up for 36 months of web hosting all at once. I want to keep my expenses much lower than that, and I prefer to pay month by month. So I'm going to click on this here, and I'm just going to choose the billing cycle of 1 month at a time. That way I'll be paying 1 month as I go for my web hosting. The next thing that you want to do is you want to choose a username and a security PIN. Then you can fill in your different billing information right here. Then when we come down here, we'll note that there are the hosting add-ons. By default, HostGator has you signed up for domain privacy as well as the site lock. So you can choose whether you want to include these add-ons or not. I'm going to uncheck the site lock because I have some other ways that I intend on protecting my website when I start building it, so I don't want to sign up for the site lock. And the privacy protection, this is really optional as well, so it's optional if you want to use it. I do recommend signing up for privacy, however, and this is why. When you create a web hosting account on any kind of web hosting company, by default, if you do not have privacy, account details, including your address, your email address, and your phone number, may show up in the web host database for anyone on the internet to be able to access. So I prefer keeping my address and my phone number and my email address private. So whenever I buy a new web domain, I always sign up for privacy protection. If you don't want privacy protection though, you can save some money by unchecking this. I'm going to leave it on for the moment though. Then you can just come down here and you see here is the details. Here are the details of your order. We note that with this coupon, WP Coupon 25, we're getting almost $10 off. So essentially the first month of web hosting is free with this coupon. And we can see that here is our domain name and our hosting add-on of $9.95. So in total, we're looking at under $25 to get started. If you want to save some more money, as mentioned, you can uncheck the privacy protection and you'll note that now the total is under $15. But once again, I like getting privacy, so I'm going to leave that on. And the last thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you click on this little box here that says I have read and agreed to the terms and conditions of use. So once you have your hosting order all ready to go, and when this looks good to you, you can go ahead and click on Create Account to create your new web hosting account. So once you click on Create Your Account, you'll get this page which will thank you for your order and will tell you to go check your email for information related to logging into your web hosting account. So I'm going to go check out my email. And here we see on my email account, here's the email from HostGator with my account info. So I'm going to click this email to open it, and I want to point out two things. Number one, the first link that they'll share with you in the email is the billing system link. So if you want to check out any info related to your billing, you can go ahead and click on this link and use the password that they give you. And then right below that, you'll see that there's a link for your control panel with your username and a temporary password. So I'm going to copy this password here, the temporary password, and to log into your control panel, you'll use this link. So this is a really good email to keep in a safe place for future reference because you will be needing this information as well as the link to the control panel to log into your HostGator web hosting account. So I'm going to click on this link here, and then here is my username. You want to type in your username here that was found in the email, and then you want to add your password right here as well. Once you have that set up, you want to click on Login to log into the control panel of your web hosting account. So here we are on the HostGator control panel. The next step that we want to do is step number 2. We want to install WordPress. And thankfully with HostGator, there's a really easy way to install WordPress using their simple wizard script. So I am going to scroll down to where that is located. You want to scroll down to where it says Software and Services, and you want to find this icon that says Quick Install. So this is what we're going to use to install WordPress really easily in HostGator. We're going to use this Quick Install link, so I'm going to click on that. And once I click on that, you'll note that there's all these different kinds of software listed here on the left-hand sidebar. So right at the top, you'll note that it says blog software, and there's a link here for WordPress. This is what we want to install, so I'm going to click on that. And then you'll note that there's a button here that says continue. Also note that we are installing version 3.5.1 of WordPress, which is the most current version available at the time of this recording. So we are installing WordPress 3.5.1, and then I'm going to click on continue to continue the process. And here you want to choose the domain name that you want to install WordPress on. I'm going to install it on this domain name here. The next thing that you want to do is you want to create an admin email, a blog title, an admin username, and you can also, if you'd like, add a first name or last name. I'm just going to add an admin email here, so put in my email. Also, you want to give it a title, so I'll just call it the name of the domain. Now the admin user, this is an important one to keep in mind. The default for WordPress websites is admin. The admin user default is admin, and that's not really the safest username to use, so you want to create a username that is anything other than admin. So I'll just use my name for the moment. And you can add first name, last name if you'd like. I'm not going to do that, and I'm just going to click on here and click on Install Now. Okay, congratulations, your installation is ready. So you can access the installation of your new website by clicking on this link here. And also note that here is the admin area login URL that you'll use in the future to access the login panel. To access your website in the future, you want to make a note of this link here. It's usually your domain name followed by wp-admin. So that's an important link to remember as well, so that going forward you can easily log into your WordPress website. Also make a note of your username and password. This is what you will also need, of course, to log into your website when you click on this link. So I'm just going to highlight this temporary password here and copy it. And then I'm going to click on this link here to log into my new WordPress website. So here we are on the login screen of our WordPress website. To log in, you want to enter your username in the username field and your password in the password field. And then you want to click on this button that says Remember Me, so that the next time you come to WordPress, your username and password will be remembered. In the event that you forget your password in the future, or perhaps even now, you want to click on this link here that says Lost Your Password, and WordPress will send you a password reset to the email that you used when you were creating your WordPress website. So for the moment, here I have my username and password. I'm going to go ahead and click on the login button to log in to the WordPress website. So here we are on the WordPress dashboard. This is the first thing you'll see when you log into your WordPress website. And when you first install WordPress, you'll also see this message that says Welcome to WordPress. Within this message box, there's a number of links, and each of these links represent some of the first things that most people do when they install their WordPress website. For the moment, though, I'm going to go ahead and dismiss this message by clicking on Dismiss in the top right-hand corner here, so that we can just see the dashboard without that message. So here we are on the dashboard. Let's take a look at what the website looks like right out of the box when we first install WordPress. So to see the site, I'm going to go up to the top left-hand side and click on Visit Site right underneath the name of the website. So right here where it says Visit Site, I'm going to click on that. And here we see this is what the website looks like now without doing anything. So it's pretty bare bones. This is the 2012 theme that comes with your WordPress installation, and we'll be making quite a bit of changes so that it will end up looking like this at the very end. So this is what we're headed toward, but for the moment our website looks like this. So let's go back to the dashboard and start building out this theme. To do that, you want to go to the top left-hand side, hover over the website name, and the first link is Dashboard. We want to click on Dashboard. And here we are on the dashboard of our WordPress website. So this is the first thing that we'll see when you log into your WordPress website. For the moment, the first step we want to take is we want to change the theme of the website. So to do that, on the left-hand side, the first step here is you want to click on Appearance. And here we're on the Manage Theme screen. So notice that the current theme is a 2012 theme. This is the theme that comes with your WordPress installation. So what we need to do now is we need to install the new WordPress e-commerce theme from Woo Themes. So first I'm going to click on Install Themes here, this tab at the top. And then I'm going to click on this link here that says Upload. And here we see it says install a theme in .zip format. So first we need to go over to woothemes.com and we need to download the free e-commerce WordPress theme called My Style. So I'm going to head on over to woothemes.com right here, and we see at the top there's a themes link. So I'm going to click on themes. And here on the themes page, I'm going to filter for free, responsive WooCommerce themes. So I'm clicking these three checkboxes here, free, responsive, and WooCommerce. And then I'm going to click on search to search for this theme. So here we see it's right here, My Style. So I'm going to click on My Style. And here at the top, there's a green button that says free download. So I'll go ahead and click on that. So you can read more about the My Style theme if you'd like. I, however, am just going to download it. So I'm going to click on this green free download button right here. And then you'll land on either a login screen or a register screen. So in order to download this free WordPress e-commerce theme, you actually need to have a WooThemes account. And the good news is that you can register for a free WooThemes account by simply filling in your username and email and entering a password twice and then clicking register to register for a free WooThemes account. So we see here I already have accounts, so I'm simply going to log in to my account. And here we see I'm on the dashboard of my account screen. So what you need to do is click on this link here, this tab that says downloads. And then you'll see all the free downloads that you can download directly from WooThemes. So these are all free WordPress themes that you can use directly from WooThemes. So the one we want is the responsive e-commerce theme called My Style. So we see it's right here. So I'm just going to click on this link on the right that says download theme. Once the file has been downloaded, I always like to grab it and move it to my desktop so it's a little bit easier to find. So I'm just going to grab it here and drag it to my desktop and release it. And then we want to go back to our WordPress website here, our WordPress dashboard. And here where it says choose file, you want to click on choose file. Then you want to find the .zip file, and we see here it is, mystyle.zip. So I'll just highlight that and click on open to open this file. And then you want to click on this button here that says install now to install this new theme. Okay, so once the theme has been successfully installed, then you can activate it by clicking on this middle link here that says activate. And here we are on the theme options screen for My Style. Now notice in the top right hand side I am using My Style 1.2.10 and I'm also using Woo Framework 5.5.5. So this is the most current version of both the My Style theme and the Woo Framework as of the time of this recording. So the first thing we see when we install My Style is we see a message at the top that says enhance your theme with WooDojo, and it says WooDojo is a powerful WooThemes feature suite for enhancing your website. So we actually do need WooDojo, so I'm going to click on Get WooDojo right here. And then you see we're back on the woothemes.com website, and here we are on the WooDojo plugin page. So what we need to do now is download WooDojo for free. So I'm going to click on this green button here. And once WooDojo has been downloaded, then like we did with the theme, I'm going to drag it to my desktop so it's a little bit easier to find and release it. And then I want to go back to my WordPress dashboard here, and on the left-hand side where it says plugins, I want to click on plugins. So here we see the plugins that have already been installed in the website. We need to add this new WooDojo plugin. So I'm going to click on the top where it says add new, and then I'm going to click on the upload link right here. And then once again we need to choose the file, so I'll click on choose file. And then I will click on the woodojo.zip file here and click on open. And once we see woodojo.zip here, then I'm going to click on install now. Okay, so the plugin has been installed successfully. The next step is we need to activate the plugin by clicking Activate Plugin. Once the plugin has been activated, then on the left-hand side you'll see a new link here that says WooDojo. So I'm Going to click on WooDojo right here. And here we are on the WooDojo plugins page. So you notice at the top, once again, it says WooDojo is a powerful toolkit of features to enhance your website. And there's all these different features that you can choose. So the one that we want is listed at the bottom right here underneath WordPress plugins, and it's called WooCommerce. So the next step is we need to click on this blue button that says download and activate WooCommerce. Okay, welcome to WooCommerce. You're almost ready to start selling. On the left-hand side, you'll see it'll say install WooCommerce pages. So I am going to click on install WooCommerce pages. And here we are on the welcome to WooCommerce 2.0 page. So we can click on settings just to double check everything. So I'm going to click on settings right here. And then I'm going to click on pages. And okay, here are all the pages have been created, so we are good to go with WooCommerce. So now let's take a look at what the website looks like. I'm going to go up to the top, hover over the website name, and click on Visit Site. So here we are on the home page of our new e-commerce website, and we can see that this is pretty bare bones. We're just getting started. We just installed it, so this is most likely what you are seeing, but what we're headed toward looks something like this. So this is the demo site that I've already created, so this is where we're headed right here. And you see here that we have the website title and tagline and an image with a title here. So let's take care of adding that first. We're going to adjust the title and the tagline, and then we'll add that wide screen full width image along with the title. So to take care of that part, I'm going to go back to the dashboard and click on Dashboard. And then I'm going to click on My Style Theme Options. And here on the Theme Options screen, you notice that the first page we land on are the general settings. So here is the style sheet that we're using. We're using the default style sheet, and throughout the video, this is what I will keep. I'm not going to change anything. I like the default, so I'll leave it as that. But notice that when you click on this, there's all these different colors that you can choose from. So feel free to experiment with these and see what the colors look like. But right now, I'm just going to keep it as the default style sheet right there. Next, you see that you have a custom logo. If you'd like to add a custom logo, just go ahead and click on the Upload button right here to upload your logo. In this particular demo, I'm not going to add a custom logo. Instead, what I'm going to use is a text title and a site description. So if you want to use a text title and a site description, make sure that these two boxes are checked. And also I should note, if you decide to go ahead and upload a logo, then what you'll need to do is uncheck these two boxes here and click Save All Changes with your logo. But I do want to have a text title and a site description, so I'll keep those checked. And I'll just save my changes here just to make sure they're saved. I tend to often click on this Save All Changes button, even if I've made no changes, just to double and triple check that everything is set the way that I want it to be looking. So next you'll notice that it says here under text title, it says enable text-based site title and tagline, which is checked, that's good. And then it says setup title and tagline are in the general settings. So I'm going to configure this now by clicking on general settings. And here we are on the general settings page. So notice that when you first install WordPress by default, the tagline is always just another WordPress website, which is really not a good tagline for anyone. So at minimum, I would suggest that you at least just delete that altogether. However, I would like to add a tagline, so I'm going to keep my site title like that. And then for the tagline, I'm going to add my tagline in here. So it'll say inspiration, ebooks, and gear for yoga and surf lovers worldwide, because once again, I'm building out a hypothetical yoga and surf ebook and product online store. So there I have my site title and tagline. Then you just want to scroll down to the bottom and click on Save Changes to save your changes. Okay, so once your settings have been saved, the next step is we want to go back to the My Style theme option. So I'm going to click on My Style here. And here we are back on the general settings screen. So what we want to do next is we want to add that full width image to the home page. So on the left-hand side here, there's a link that says homepage. So I'm going to click on this right here. And then you'll note that you have a number of different homepage settings that pop up. So the first one is the featured image. So I'm going to click on that, and you can see here it says display a banner, yes or no, if you want to display a banner on the home page. And you can also select what color if you want to use a color for the text banner. So I am going to click in this button here where it says, yes, I do want to display a banner because the banner is the full width image we want. And then here where it says featured image, upload a graphic to appear as a banner on the home page. So I'm going to click on this button here that says upload. And then I'm going to click on select files. Note that I'm in the from computer tab right here. So I'm going to click on select files. And then I'm going to find my file. So my file is located in the My Styles Images folder. So I'll double click that. And then here's the image at the bottom, the yogahome.jpg. Then I'll just click on open to open and upload this file. So here's my image right here. We see the dimensions are 1170 wide by 370 pixels tall. It's always a good idea to give your images a text title and an alternative text. So for the moment, I'll just call this my website name right here. And then I'm going to scroll down, and you have all these different sizes you can choose from. But because this is a full width image on the home page, I am going to use the full width size. So I'm going to click on full size, and then I'm going to click on this button that says use this image. Okay, so there is my featured image. The next step is we can add both a banner headline and a banner stand first, which is the copy below the headline. So it's like one title and then there's a short description underneath that. So you can add both of these, but I'm actually only going to add a banner headline. So I'll just add that right in there, and I'm going to delete this, and then I'm going to click on Save All Changes to save the changes. Once the changes have been saved, let's take a look at the website by going up to the top and clicking on Visit Site. Okay, so here we are on the home page. We see that we have quite a few fixes we need to make. First of all, we need to change this menu so it's not taking up so much of this height here. I need to take out some of these items and move the menu over. And then also note that our banner headline is kind of falling off the page, so that's not a good thing. So what we need to do is we need to reduce the padding or the margins that this particular title currently has. So one way that I find the code for this is I use a tool in Google Chrome. I'm using a Google Chrome browser, and one tool I use, it's a developer tool called Inspect Elements. So for example, when you go up to the top in Google Chrome, there are these three different lines here. I'm going to move this over so you can see it just a little bit more. So there are these three lines, and when I click on these, then I get a drop-down box, and when I go to Tools and hover over Tools, I get another drop-down box, and here you see there's a link that says Developer Tools. So I am going to click on Developer Tools. And here we see all the code that is being used to create this website. So on the left-hand side, we have all the HTML, and on the right-hand side, we have all the CSS. So the CSS is the code that creates the styles for the website. So things like the colors, the font sizes, the font types, the spaces, things like that. Everything related to styles is referred to as CSS. And that's here on the right hand side, and then everything on the left hand side here is the structure, and that's actually how the different sections are laid out. So in order to change this title, this banner title here, we need to adjust the CSS. So to find the code for this, I'm just going to click on this. You notice that when I'm on the HTML here, when I hover over these different sections, they highlight on the left-hand side. So we just need to drill down until we're only highlighting this area here, which is the title. So I'm going to click on wrapper right here, and then I'm going to click on this marker right next to it to open up more of the elements within the wrapper. We can see as I go one by one to each of these different markers, it highlights a different section on the web page. So move that over. So notice that here I'm highlighting the header section, and the header is highlighted. Then I have the homepage banner, that looks good, and then content is below that. So the title, the banner title we need to change is located in the homepage banner, and when I click on this marker, we get more elements here, and here we go. Here it is. It's this H1 section right here, and I'm going to click on the marker once again, and then there's a span, some span code, and here is the actual title where it says, "Welcome to the best digital library of ebooks on yoga and surfing on the interwebs." So this is the area that we need to adjust, And when we go here, you can see that here the CSS refers to the .homepage-banner h1 span. And when I scroll down here at the bottom, there's going to be a metrics. Right here it says metrics. So I'm going to open that, click on that here, and nothing displays. So what we need to do is click on this H1, and there we go. Okay, when I click on the actual H1 right here, you can see we're still highlighting the title. And now here are the metrics right here. So you notice on the left there's a 20%, it looks like, space, and then there's also a 20% space on the right hand side. So we need to reduce that because it's 20% of the banner is being this space here, and it's pushing my title all the way in the middle and it drags it down too far. I want this title to be tighter to the left hand side. So what we need to do is we need to find that 20%. So I'm going to scroll back up, and here we see, here it says 20% right here where it says left 20%. So when I reduce this, I'm going to reduce it to 5% by just double clicking in here and clicking on 5. Now actually you don't need to really touch this yet, and I will provide the code in just a moment on the video, but I just want to show you how I go about finding the code. So here it says 5%, and when I click on 5% now you see that my title moved over to the left hand side, which is exactly what I want. Now keep in mind that when you change the code within this Inspect Element developer tool in Google Chrome, it does not actually save the code. This is just a place where you can experiment, you can change things safely and see how the web page now renders just by changing some of the styles here on the right. But in order to save it, you actually have to go into the WordPress site and add the code. So we'll do that in just a moment. So also note the right side spacing here is also 20%. So to keep it even, I'm going to make this 5% as well. So I'll just override that as 5. And now you see when I move this over, now my title is showing up a lot better, more across the entire banner, which is exactly how I want it. So now what we need to do is we need to grab this code. So I'm just going to copy this here in the CSS area. So I'm just going to move it over so you can see it. So I'm copying this area. I'm just highlighting it and copying it. And then back on the website, I can move this over now. Back on the website, I'm going to go to the dashboard by going up to the top left-hand side, hovering over the website name and clicking on Dashboard. And then I'm going to click on My Style Theme Options. And then right underneath where it says General Settings, there's a link here that says Display Options. So I'm going to click on Display Options. And here on the Display Options screen, you see at the top there's a box for all the custom CSS. And on the right-hand side, it says quickly add some CSS to your theme by adding it to this block. So I'm going to paste the CSS that I just copied in the previous step. And note that I did not change the top, so I don't really need to add that here. I didn't make any changes to the top 30% percentage. So I'm going to delete that. And I did not make any changes to the position either, so I'm going to delete that. This box is really only for the new changes that you're making. So I'm just going to add my changes right here, and note that there's an opening bracket right here, this kind of tilde bracket, and you need to close it with a closing tilde bracket. So that's kind of located on the right-hand side of the keyboard, just above the return key. You need to click on the Shift key and then click on the tilde key like that to create this closing bracket. So I'm going to add this to the video, so no worries if you can't see it now. I will add this code to the video so it's more easy to see. Once you have the new code there, go ahead and click on Save All Changes to save the changes. Once the options have been updated, now let's take a look at our home page by going up to the top, hovering over the website name and clicking on Visit Site. And here we see now our title is showing up a lot better. The only catch is that it's a little bit too low down the page, and I also have this default line is showing up here, so we need to get rid of that. So let's move this whole title up, and then we'll get rid of the default second line right here. So once again, I'm going to go through Inspect Elements by clicking on the three lines at the top, hovering over Tools and clicking on Developer Tools. Then I'm going to click on the wrapper, click on the marker next to the wrapper, and go straight to the home page banner and click on the marker to the left. Then I'm going to go straight to the H1 tags here. And then you'll note that the top is 30%, so I think we need to change that. So I am going to change that to 10% this time. Okay, and when I change it to 10%, now it falls definitely a lot better right like that. So I am going to change the top part to 10%. So I'm going to copy it once again right there, and I'll close Inspect Elements, and I'm going to go back to the dashboard by clicking on Dashboard, and then I'll click on My Style Theme Options. Then under General Settings, once again, I'm going to click on Display Options, and this time I'm going to add the top section back in here by pasting it right inside of the same code we just had earlier. So once again, I'll add this to the video if you can't see this clearly, so no worries. But I've just added top 10%, and it's top colon space 10% with a semicolon. And then I'm going to click on Save All Changes to save the changes. Now remember that there was also that default line that was still showing up. So to remove that completely, we need to click on Home Page here on the left-hand side and then scroll down, and you'll see that even though I had deleted it previously, the way the theme works is if it's empty, it will add it back in. So the little trick to remove this entirely is you delete it and then you have to create a couple spaces. So you can see that I do have some actual keys in here, but they're spaces. So you need to create some spaces here if you want to remove this line altogether. Of course, if you want to add the line, go ahead and add whatever sentence or tagline you want in here. I want to keep it blank, once again, to keep it simple and have the focus on the headline. So I'm just going to add some spaces, come up to the top, and click on Save All Changes. Now I'm going to go to the website once again by going up to the top, hovering over the site name, and clicking on Visit Site. And there you go. Now we see I have my full width image, I have my title right here, and it's positioned exactly where I want, and that other line is now no longer there. So one more thing, if you wanted to change the font size right here of this title, you could also do that as well. So I'm just going to make this a tad smaller. I'm going to go up to the top, click on Dashboard, then I'll click on My Style Theme Options. Once again, I'll click on Display Options in the General Settings tab, and here in the same section where we customize the other settings for this title, I'm going to add a font title setting. So it's called font-size. This is another CSS style. Here is the font size, and right now the default is 51 pixels, so I'll just make it a tad smaller. I'll make it 40 pixels with a semicolon after it, and then I'll click on Save All Changes. So now when we go to the home page by going up to the top and clicking on Visit Site, now we see that my title is just a little bit smaller, which is exactly how I want it right here. So the next thing I want to do is I want to change this menu item here. So in order to do that, we actually need to create some pages, because here's the end result that we're headed toward right here. And you see I have these additional pages. So first let's go ahead and create these pages, and then we will configure the menu. So the first page I want to create is the About page. So I'm going to go back to my website right here, go to the top, click on Dashboard, and then on the left-hand side here, I'm going to click on Pages right there. At the top, there's a link that says Add New, so I'm going to click on Add New. And because this is the About page, the first thing we need to do is give the page a title. So I'm simply going to give it the title of About right there. Just under the title, then we have this box here where you can drop in any kind of content, images, or video that you'd like to be displayed on the page. So I'm going to add some content right here, some text that I had previously copied. So I have my text right there, and you'll notice that there's all these different icons here. So we are in the What You See is What You Get kind of view right here. This is the visual view, and you'll note that there's a visual tab and a text tab. So in the visual tab, you have all these different icons you can use to format your text. So as an example, when I highlight this text and then I click on this B, then just like an email or a word processing program, the content will be formatted with the different icons above that you decide to use. So now that we see this is bolded visually, when we click on the text view, it looks a lot different, but here this is the HTML that WordPress is automatically generating. Right here we see here are the bold tags, the strong tags, and the HTML closing tag right here. So this is the code that is being used by WordPress and created by WordPress to create that bold formatting. So the good news with WordPress is that you don't need to know any code. You can simply use these icons here to format the text in the box. Also note that you don't have to memorize these buttons either. If you simply hover on top of them, you'll get a yellow tooltip that will tell you exactly what each of these icons do. The other thing to note is if you're only seeing one row of icons here, then you need to click this button here, right here, and that will open up what is referred to as the kitchen sink. So you see when I hover over this, it says show or hide kitchen sink, and I just click on it on and off, and you can see the row appears and it disappears like that. So okay, so I'm going to remove this formatting here by just highlighting it and clicking on this remove formatting eraser. And then I want to also add an image right before the text, or I should say to the left of the text. So what you need to do is just place the cursor where you want the image to be displayed, click on Add Media right here at the top, and then you need to select your file. So I'm going to click on Upload Files, and then select Files, and then here the file that I want is in the My Style Images, so I'm going to open that folder right there. And let's see, here it is, pick number 2. So I'm going to highlight the image that I want and then click on Open to open this image and upload it to WordPress. So with all images, it's always a good idea to add a title and an alternative text. So right now I'll just add the website name. And then down below you'll note that there are some alignment settings that you can choose, whether you want to left align this, center, right, or have no alignment. I am going to click on left alignment. I'm going to link it to nothing, but you see there are these other settings. I'm going to link it to nothing. And for the size, instead of having the full size, I'm going to choose this 300 by 285, this medium size, and then I'm going to click on Insert into Page to insert the image into the page. Now note that because I chose left alignment, the text is showing up right here on the right hand side and the image is on the left, just how I wanted it. Okay, so the next step is we have our page attributes here on the right hand side, and you can create parent or child pages. Parent page would be the top level page, and a child page of course would be the sub menu or sub page underneath of the parent page. So I'm going to make this about page the parent page, so I'll just leave it as it is right here. However, here where it says template, I want to click on default template, and you'll note that you have all these different template options to choose for each of the pages you create. So right now for the About page, I want this page to be a full width page, so I'm going to click on full width. That way there will be no sidebars and other distractions on this page. It will be simply the About page and that's it. Then you can just scroll down and check out the other settings. It looks like we're good to go. Here I do want to make a note on the discussion tab right here. So on my pages I do not want to have any comments. I'd rather keep the comments on the blog post pages or blog posts. So I'm going to disable comments on the About page by just unchecking these two. And here we see, here's the layout. I don't think we have to worry about this for the About page because we've already selected full width, but this is the different layouts that you can have: left sidebar, right sidebar, or full width. So just as a double check, I'm going to click on this full width box right here, and then I'm going to scroll to the top and click on Publish. Now before I do that, I just want to make one more note. If you are not seeing this discussion box, sometimes it doesn't always display, then what you need to do is come up to the top and click on Screen Options, and then you'll see all the different sections that you can add to the screen, and you want to make sure that the discussion box is checked so that it will show up below. Once you've made your selections, you can click on Screen Options one more time to close the screen options. I think we're good to go now though, so I'm just going to click on Publish to publish this page. Okay, so once the About page has been created, the next page we need to create is the blog index page. So I'm going to create a new blog index page by clicking on Add New. And this time for the title, I'm just going to simply call this blog. And you leave all of this blank. You don't have to fill anything in. This is not a blog post. This is actually just creating the blog index page. So you just want to add the blog title here. And then here on Attributes, Page Attributes, you want to click on Default Template once again. And this time we need to select the blog template. So I'm just going to click on Blog there. Scroll to the bottom. Once again, I'm going to uncheck the two discussion options here, so there are no comments on the blog index page. I'm going to click on this. Actually, the blog index page does by default have a sidebar, so this is kind of irrelevant. You can choose, however, if you want the sidebar to show up on the right-hand side or the left-hand side. So I would like the sidebar to show up on the right-hand side, so I'm going to click on this third box here where the sidebar is on the right. And then I'm going to scroll up to the top and click on Publish to publish the blog index page. Okay, so once the blog index page has been created, the other page we need to create is the contact page. So once again, I'm going to click on Add New, and this time for the title, I'll call it Contact. I'm going to leave all of this blank, and then once again here on the right-hand side where it says Page Attributes, I'm going to click on Default Template, and then I'm going to choose the template called Contact Form, and then I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to uncheck the discussion because I do not want comments on my contact form, and then you can choose once again which of the layouts you want. If you want to have a right sidebar or a left sidebar with your contact form, you can choose these. I'm just going to choose full width right now, so it's simply the contact form on the page without any sidebars. So I'm just going to click on this full width layout here and then scroll to the top and click on Publish to publish the contact page. Okay, so now that the contact page has been published, now let's go ahead and configure our menu. So to configure the menu, you want to go to the left-hand side, hover over Appearance, and click on Menus. And here we are on the menus page. So the first thing we need to do is create a menu. So I'm going to come up to the side here where it says Menu Name, and I'll just call this Menu. Then I'm going to click on Create Menu, this blue button here. So once you create one menu, then you'll notice on the left-hand side, now you'll have a section here that says Theme Locations. And as it notes, your theme supports two menus. So we can actually create two menus here. And when I go to the site that has already been created, you see that I only have one menu right here, but this area right here is where the other menu, the top menu, can be displayed if you'd like to add a menu up here as well. So in this video, I'm only going to be adding one menu. So to do that, I need to come to Theme Locations. You'll note that there's a primary menu and a top menu. So in order to make the top menu empty, I'm just going to click on the plus sign here one more time, and I'm going to create a new menu called Top Menu. Then, as we did before, I'm going to click on this blue Create Menu button. And once the top menu has been created, now I'm going to set the theme locations for both menus. So the primary menu is going to be my menu, and the top menu will be the top menu. And then I'm going to click on Save to save the locations of the two menus. So the next thing we need to do is click on Menu here, and we need to start adding pages or categories or whatever we want to show in the menu. We need to add that here. So the first thing I want to do is add a custom link to a home page. So I'll give it the label of home, and the URL will be the website name. And then I'll just click on Add to Menu. And here we see now the home page is being displayed in the menu. So I'm going to scroll down and add some other pages. I'm going to add the contact page, the blog page, the about page. I will also add a cart page and the shop page. Then, once these are selected, I'm going to click on Add to Menu to add them to the menu. Now the good news is that you can easily reorder these as well just by dragging them and dropping them around. So for example, I want the About page to come up second, followed by the blog, And let's see, I'll have the cart and the shop page at the bottom. So this is a good order. I like this order, so I'll keep it like that. Feel free to rearrange anything that you'd like. And then when you're ready, go ahead and click on Save Menu to save the menu. So now when we go check out the site by going up to the top and clicking on Visit Site, now we see here we have our menu, so we're good to go there. Now scrolling down, you'll note that we have a blog post being featured here, and whenever I have an e-commerce website, whether it's for ebooks or physical products or whenever I'm selling anything, I really just want the focus of attention to be on the products. So even though there is an option to include a blog post or a few blog posts here on the home page, I'm going to leave all the blog posts on the blog index page. So I'm going to remove this section. Of course, if you want to keep your blog posts on the home page, feel free to keep it there. I'm going to remove it, and I'm also going to add all of the actual featured products and featured ebooks that will be included in my product catalog. First, to remove the blog posts, I'm going to go up to the top, click on Dashboard, then I'm going to click on My Style. And here on the theme options screen, there's a link here for homepage, so I'm going to click on homepage. And you see we've already taken care of the featured image right there. And let's see, we also have a sidebar link and a WooCommerce link. So I'm going to click on WooCommerce, and this is where you can select what you want to have displayed on the homepage. So if you want to display product categories, I think I'll do that. Display featured products, yes, I'll do that. And let's see, here where it says display recent products on the home page, I don't want to display recent products. I think just displaying the product categories and the featured products is enough. I don't need recent products too, so it seems kind of repetitive. But of course, if you want it, feel free to check this box and indicate how many of those products you want to have featured. I'm going to set my homepage like this and click on Save All Changes to save the changes for the homepage. Now when I click on blog right here, this link, this is where it says display latest posts on the homepage. And if you'd like to do that, go ahead and leave it checked and choose how many blog posts you want to have featured on the homepage. I am going to turn that off by unchecking this box and then clicking on Save All Changes. Finally, here in the homepage settings, if you'd like to include a sidebar on your homepage, you can do so by just clicking on this box. I'm not going to display a sidebar though. I like the page to be a full width page, so I'll leave that unchecked. And now let's go about adding some products to our product catalog. So to add a new product, you can do it several ways. You can come up to the top, hover over plus new and click on product, or on the left-hand side here, you see there's a link that says products. So I'm going to click on products right here on the left-hand side. And then here we are on the products page. So to add a product, I'm going to click on this link here that says add product. And then here on the Add New Product screen, the first thing we need to do is give our product a name. So I am going to give my ebook this name, Yoga Stretches for Beginners. And then once again here in the box, you can add whatever kind of content or description you'd like to add about this particular product. So I'm just going to add a short couple sentences here, and I'm going to also be adding that Google Doc Embedder plugin so that I can include one chapter of the ebook as a kind of preview to the whole book. So hopefully the one chapter will encourage everyone to buy the entire ebook. Now, of course, in order to embed a document using the Google Doc Embedder, we need to go grab the plugin. We need to go on the left-hand side here. We need to click on Plugins and then click on Add New. And then in the search field, we want to add Google Doc Embedder and click Search Plugins. So here it is at the top, the Google Doc Embedder. When I click on Details, you can read more details about this particular plugin. It says Google Doc Embedder lets you embed several types of files into your WordPress pages using the Google Docs viewer. And then when you scroll down, it says similar to services like Scribd, Google Doc Embedder will allow you to embed these files directly into your page or post, not requiring the user to have Microsoft Word or Adobe Reader, PowerPoint, or any other software installed to view the contents. So one other thing about Scribd, it says unlike Scribd, the files do not need to be uploaded to any service first, including Google Docs, but can exist anywhere publicly accessible on your site or the internet. So This is a really great plugin for embedding documents, and once again the upside is that whoever's viewing the document really just has to have an internet connection, so that's really cool. So I'm going to install this by clicking on this button here that says Install Now, and once it has been installed I'm going to click Activate Plugin to activate the plugin. Once the plugin has been activated I'm going to click on Settings, and here you can see there's all these different settings that you can choose to set the Google Doc Embedder. So one thing I want to point out is that sometimes, depending on what browser you're using, the embedded document actually does not show up in the browser. So one way I found to actually fix that problem is to change the viewer mode here from standard viewer to enhanced viewer. So I'm going to choose that right now. I'm going to click on, for viewer mode, I'm going to change it to enhanced viewer. Then I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom and click Save Changes to save the changes. Once the settings have been saved for the Google Doc Embedder, now we need to go back to our product and add the document, embed the document in the product. So I'm going to click on Products, and then I'll click on my Yoga Stretches for Beginners ebook here. I'll click on Edit. And here on the Edit Product page, now we see on the top row of the visual tab right here, there's a new icon called the Google Doc Embedder. So before we can use that, we actually need to upload the PDF that we want to embed into the website. So to upload Chapter 1, the first part of the ebook, to the website, I'm just going to place the cursor right where I want to add the embedded document, and then I'm going to click on Add Media. Then I'm going to click on Upload Files and then select Files. And then we need to select the file that you want to embed into your document. So I'm just going to embed this one, Chapter 1. So I'm going to highlight it and click on Open. And once the document has been uploaded to the WordPress website, you'll see the info for that document here on the right-hand side, hopefully including a title. If you don't have a title, be sure to give this particular new PDF a title. And then we need to scroll down to where it says Attachment Display Settings. So I'm going to click on None here, and I'm going to choose Media File. And then I'm just going to highlight this particular link here. This is the link of the actual file. So I'm going to highlight it and copy it. And then once I've copied this file link right here, then I'm going to set the link to setting back to none. So here we see now it says none. I just needed to grab the media file URL. Okay, so I'm not going to insert this into the product. I'm just going to close it right here by clicking on this close button at the top. And then here on the Edit Product screen, I'm going to place the cursor where I want to embed the document. And in the top row of this kitchen sink area here in the visual tab, I'm going to click on the Google Doc Embedder icon. Here we see we can add all of the different settings for the Google Doc Embedder, and the first one, which is required, is the full URL or file name of the document that you want to embed. So I just copied it in the previous step, so I'm just going to place the cursor in this field here and paste the file link right in this window. So when you do that, then you'll get a shortcode preview right here. You can see what the shortcode looks like. If you'd like to adjust any of the optional settings right here, you can do that. I'm not going to touch these. I'm going to leave them as they are, and then I'm just going to click on this button here to insert the shortcode into my product page. Okay, so now we see we have this shortcode right here. So that is good to go. Now on the right-hand side, we need to add this new ebook to a product category. So to create a category, I'm going to click on the Add New Product Category link here, and I'll just call this ebooks, and then I'll click on Add New Product Category once again to create the product category. Then I'm going to scroll down, and here we have some product tags, so I think I'll just call this Yoga, perhaps I'll also call it Beginners, and you want to separate any tags with commas. So I just added 2 tags here, and then I'm going to click on Add. And then we need to set the featured image, so I'm going to come down here and click on Set Featured Image. Then once again, I'm going to click on Upload Files and then Select Files. And then I'm going to select the file that I want to use as the featured image, so I just highlight my file right there and then click on Open. And then once again on the right-hand side, you'll have all of the attachment details. So it's always a good idea to include a title and alternative text, so I will add one right here. And once you have your title and your alternative text, go ahead and click on this button that says Set Featured Image. Okay, so once the image has been set, the featured image has been set, the next step is we need to come over here to where it says Product Data. So we will go over in just a few minutes how to add physical products as well, but right now this is an ebook. So you'll note here under product data, when you click on simple product, I have all these different options here, but this is going to be a downloadable product, so I'm going to click on this checkbox right here. And also note, when you hover over many of these items, you'll get a tooltip, and in this case, when I hover over the checkbox for downloadable, it says downloadable products give access to a file upon purchase. So that is exactly what I want to do. So I just clicked on this checkbox next to downloadable, and then you'll notice that you get all of these additional settings for your downloadable product. So if you'd like to add a SKU, you can do so. A SKU refers to a stock keeping unit, a unique identifier for each distinct product and service that can be published or purchased, I should say. And I'm going to skip SKUs, but that's an option if you'd like to use it. For regular price, I'm going to give this a price of 10. Note that it's in pounds. We'll change that in just a few moments because I want that to be in dollars. But right now, I'll just leave it as 10. You can give a product a sale price. So to demo that, I'm going to click on Schedule right here. And I'll create the sale price of, say, $5, half off. And the sale price dates, I just click on this calendar icon. And then I'm going to click on May the 31st, and then I'm going to click on the other calendar icon and choose perhaps, say, June 4th. Then what we need to do is we need to create a file or add the file of the actual full ebook, the full product that you want to sell. So this is not just the first chapter anymore. This is the full ebook that you want to sell. So I'm going to click on this button here that says Choose a File. And then once again, I'm going to click on Upload Files and select Files. And here we see, here is the file, the full ebook that I want to sell as a product. So here we see we had already embedded chapter 1. Now I'm going to upload the entire ebook right here. So I just highlight it and click on Open. And then here we see it has a title right there, so that's good. And then I'm going to click on Insert File URL. Okay, so now we see that here is the file. It's been added right there. If you'd like to set download limits, the number of times that anyone can download this product, you can add here whatever number that you would like. You can just add different numbers here. I'm going to leave it as unlimited, so I'll just leave it blank, or leave it at 0. Actually, I'll just delete it altogether. So it's unlimited. There we go. So unlimited download limit. And if you want to create an expiration date or the number of days before a download link expires, you can set that here as well. So I'm not going to set those. I'm just going to add the file, add my price and my sale price and dates. And then I just want to scroll to the bottom here, and where it says product short description, I want to add a short description about this particular product. Then just below that, you'll notice that here are the layout settings for this theme, and we see once again, here's the full width, the right sidebar, and the left sidebar. Whenever I have a product page, I always prefer not to have any sidebars because once again, I don't want to distract anyone from the product itself. So I'm going to click on this full width box right here, and then I'm going to scroll up to the top and I'm going to click on Publish to publish this new product. Okay, so once the product has been published, we can view the product by clicking on View Product. And here we see here is the product page. So we have our thumbnail image, which when I click on it, it opens up into a really nice lightbox display here, a much larger image. Then we have the product title. We see that this is on sale because we created a sale for this product. So it's originally 10, now on sale for 5, and we will change pounds to dollars in just a moment. You have your short product description, and then you have your call to action, add to cart button. Then when we scroll down, now you see you have your product description as well as the embedded document right here. So this is only one page, but if you had more than one page, someone could just click on these buttons here to go to the next page. They can also reduce the font or increase the font by clicking on this particular icon right here to make the size larger. And once again, the good news about this particular plugin is that anyone who visits your website in this product page does not need to have Adobe or Microsoft Word or any other kind of software. They can just look at the embedded document right directly on your product page. So then I'm just going to scroll down, and you see here we have the direct link if anyone wants to download the PDF for this particular embedded document. So this download link, once again, is only for the embedded document. It's not for the ebook itself. So one other thing I want to note about this product that we've just created, this downloadable ebook, when we go to WooCommerce settings by clicking on Dashboard and then hovering over WooCommerce and clicking on Settings, here on the General tab, when you scroll down, you'll note that there's a section here related to downloadable products. And currently, the file download method is set as forced download. So that's what I want. But notice that when I click on this, you have these other options. So when we check out the WooCommerce documentation on downloadable products, you'll note that here is a great page for all the different settings related to ebooks, and I'll include this link in the video. But one thing I do want to call attention to is right here where it notes that, okay, you have 3 choices related to downloadable products: redirect only, forced download, or xsend file. And it says to ensure files are protected from direct linking, forced download can be used. Files will be served by PHP. However, if your files are large or your server is underpowered, you may experience timeouts during the download. In this case, you would need to look either at your server or use the redirect method. So then just below it, there's some more great info that says if your server supports it, use xsend file, which is the most reliable method. Apache serves the download, giving you the best performance. Files are also protected by a .htaccess file, making this method secure. So if you have really large files and you're experiencing download timeouts for those large files, then I encourage you to check out xsend file, and as it notes here, you just have to make sure that your server has the xsend file module set within it. So okay, then in this video I'm going to keep the download method as forced downloads, but once again, if you want to change it, if your files are large, you can go ahead and change it on the WooCommerce settings screen right here. I also want to note that there's lots of other additional information related to downloadable products and ebooks, so I encourage you to check out this particular page on the WooThemes documentation in the event that you have other special needs for your ebooks. So going back to our WordPress website, I'm just going to add a few more products here. So I'm going to click on plus new and click on product at the top. And this time, instead of adding an ebook or downloadable product, I'm going to add a simple product. So I'm going to add a simple yoga tee. So I'm going to call it Yoga Om Tee. And then here in this section here, I want to add the product description. So I'll just paste in some content right there. Next, I'm going to scroll down on the right-hand side. This new product category is going to be t-shirts, so I'm going to click on Add New Product Category and click on Add T-shirts there, and then click on Add New Product Category once again. Then you can add some product tags. I'll call this t-shirt as well as yoga and click on Add. Again, I've separated these 2 tags with a comma. Then we need to scroll down and I need to set the featured image. So I'm going to click on Set Featured Image and then Upload Files and then Select Files. And then I'm going to find the file. So the file that I want is this one right here, the yoga t-shirt om.png. So I'm just going to highlight it and click on Open. And then once again, it's always a good idea to give your images or your content a title and an alternative text. So I'll just add that right here. And then go ahead and click on this button that says Set Featured Image. Once the featured image has been set, the next step is we need to look at the product data section over here. And once again, when we click on this box here, Simple Product, we see the different product types that we can choose. So this particular t-shirt I want to create, I want it to be a simple product, so I'm just going to click on Simple Product. And you can see here you can give it a SKU, a regular price, or a sale price. I'm just going to give it a regular price right now, no sale. So I'll just put it as 40. Then what we want to do is we want to click on Attributes. Here on the attribute screen, I'm going to click on Add to add a new attribute. And this one I'm going to call Size. And I'm just going to make it one size fits all because it's a simple product. So I'll just put one size fits all. And then I'm going to click on Save Attributes. So the simple products are very simple. There's no variations to them. We'll do a product with variations in the next example, but this is just a very simple product. So you just buy this t-shirt. It comes in one color, one size, and we're good to go. So I do want to make this visible on the product page though, so I'm going to click on this check box right here. Also note that there's these other different tabs that if you want to manage inventory or configure special shipping for this particular product, you can click on these different tabs. I'm not going to do this right now. I'm going to deal with shipping later down the line, but I just want to point these out in the event that you need them. So if you want to manage stock, if you want to allow back orders or sell the product individually, you can check out these sections here. And also note there are question marks, which when you hover over them, once again, it gives you a really cool tooltip that tells you exactly what this particular setting does. So here it says stock status, and I hover over the question mark. It says controls whether or not the product is listed as in stock or out of stock on the front end. So if you want that, you can just click on that. So okay, the next step is I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to add a short product description. I'm going to grab the first sentence of my demo content here, and I'll just scroll down and I'm going to add the short product description. And then once again here where it says layout, because it's a product, I don't want any sidebars on this. Of course, if you want sidebars, feel free to choose a right sidebar here or a left sidebar. I prefer keeping the focus on the product, so I'm not going to include any sidebars. It'll just be a full width product page. So I'm going to click this box, scroll up to the top, and click on Publish to publish this product. Once the product has been published, let's check it out by clicking on View Product. And here you see here is the product. So when I click on the t-shirt right here, it opens up into a really nice lightbox display, just as the ebook did. And then we have the product title, the price, a short product description, the call to action, add to cart button right here. And then when I scroll down now, you'll note that here I just have the product description. Of course, there's no embedded document because this is a t-shirt, not an ebook. When I click on additional information, it just says size, one size fits all. And if you have any reviews, those will show up in this section right here. Also note that now we're starting to see related products show up down below. And as we add more products to our product catalog, all of those different related products will start to show up here also. So there we go. So let's add one more physical product, and this time we'll add a physical product with variations. So I'm going to go up to the top, hover over plus new, and click on product. And here on the add new product screen, once again, we want to give our product a name. So I'm going to call this yoga mat. And then here in the box, I'm going to add the product description. Then on the right hand side, I'm going to add a product category. So this is a mat, so I'm going to give it the product category of gear and click on add new product category. And then if you'd like, you can also add some product tags for this product. So I'll just call this yoga mat and click on add. And then we want to scroll down, and once again we want to set the featured image by clicking on set featured image. So I'm going to click on upload files and select files. And then here I'm going to find the yoga mat image and click on open. And once again, it's always a good idea to include a title and an alternative text. So I'll just add that in right here. And then at the bottom you want to click on set featured image. Once the image has been set, then on the left-hand side, here we are at the product data once again. And last time in the previous example, we created a simple product, but this time let's create a variable product. So I'm going to create a product that has different colors. It's the same product, but it comes in different colors. So this time I'm going to click on variable product, and then I'm going to click on attributes, and then I'm going to click on add, this add button to add an attribute. And the name of the attribute is going to be color. Then we want to create the values of the attribute, keeping in mind that you need to separate the values with a pipe symbol. A pipe symbol looks like a capital I or a L. It's a vertical line, and it can be found on the right-hand side of your keyboard above the return key. So you have to hold down the shift key and click on the pipe symbol above the return key. So I'm going to give this some colors right here, orange, and then the pipe symbol, and then I'll also give the color of gray and the pipe symbol, and I'll also add a color of blue. So this particular product comes in 3 different colors, and then I want to click these 2 boxes that I want to show the attributes on the product page, and I also want to use the color for variations. So once you have your attributes set up with the values, go ahead and click on the Save Attributes button below to save the attributes. Next, we need to set the variations, and we see here there's a new link here that says variations, so I'm going to click on variations. And then here is a setting here for the default selection. So you need to choose a default color or size or some whatever attribute you have, you need to set a default selection here. So I'll create orange. Now this is really important to make sure that you don't skip this, because if you do not have a default, then the Add to Cart button on the product page will not display. So that's really important always to have an Add to Cart button, so make sure that you do set the default selection right here. Okay, so now we need to add a variation, so I'm going to click on this button that says Add Variation, and then I'm going to choose my first variation, which was the orange color, and I'm going to set the price here. I'll make that also 40. And then I want to click on Add Variation one more time, and I want to set the other variation, which was the gray color, and I'll give that the same price of 40. And then finally, one more time, I'm going to click Add Variation and set the color of blue, and this time, once again, I'm going to make the price 40. So once you have all of your variations set, then we just need to come down to this section here, Product Short Description, and add a short description. So I'm going to paste in the same content I did before, only instead of this long description, I'll just cut it off so it's just the first sentence. Finally, at the bottom, you want to choose what layout you want for this particular product page, and once again, I'm going to choose the full width layout, which is this box right here, and then I'm going to scroll up to the top, and I'm going to click on Publish to publish this post. So now when we check out the product by clicking on View Product, here we see here is the product with all of the different variations. So we have the product image, which when I click on it opens up into this really cool light box. And then we have the product title, the price, the short description, and here's the different colors. When I click on orange, I have this drop down box of these other different colors I can choose. And then a little bit below I have the product description once again, the additional info with the different colors it comes in, and the reviews. So this is how you create a product with variations. Now note that the related products are not showing up down below. Most likely that's because this is an entire different product category, and the tags that I'm using right now, yoga mat, are not similar to the other products that I've added to my product catalog. So it's always a good idea to try and cross-sell or upsell other products by featuring them on the product page. So let's just adjust the tags so that at least a few of those other related products show up below the product. So I'm going to click on Edit Product, and then I'm going to scroll down to where it says Product Tags, and this time I'm just going to add the yoga tag as it is and click on Add. And now when I scroll up and click on Update, and then I click on View Products right here, now we see when I scroll down, now the related products are showing up. So just keep that in mind. You want to make sure that you do have related products showing up down here, and to do that you can just add similar tags to each of your products in your product catalog. So now let's take a look at the home page of the site. I'm going to click on the title here of the website, and we see here is the home page. And it looks like we still need to add the product categories and the featured products. We need to make sure they're showing up here on the home page. So far we've only added 3 products to our product catalog, so we will be sort of limited, but I want to show you how you can start adding them to the home page right here. So to do that, first of all, with the product categories, we need to add different images to our product categories right here so that we don't have these empty placeholders. So let's do that first. We're going to add the images to the product categories by going up to the top, clicking on Dashboard, and then on the left hand side where it says Products, we want to hover over Products and then click on this link here that says Categories. So here we see our 3 categories right here. We do need to add a 4th category as well, because we have 4 categories being displayed on the home page. So first I'm going to add a new category. I'll call this surf gear or surf t-shirts. And then I'm going to scroll down and click on Add New Product Category. And if we recall, the previous t-shirts that I had was a yoga t-shirt, so I'm going to edit this particular category so that instead of being the top level t-shirts at large, it'll be a little bit more specific. That way I'll have a category for t-shirts and a category for yoga t-shirts. So I'm going to click on Quick Edit, and here I can just change the name of the category. So I'm going to call this Yoga T-shirts, and let's see, the slug I'll also call Yoga T-shirts right here, and you have to make sure it's all one word. And then I'm going to click on Update Product Category. Okay, great. So I have t-shirts. I have my 4 categories here. Let's go ahead and add the images, the thumbnail images to each of these. So I'm going to click on Edit for Surf T-shirts. And then here where it says Thumbnail, I need to click on Upload or Add an Image. And then I'm going to click on Upload Files and select Files. And then here I need to select the t-shirt file that I want for the thumbnail. So I'm just going to choose my file right here and click on Open. And then once again, it's a good idea to include a title and alternative text. So I'll just call this Surf T. And once you have the title and alternative text, go ahead and click on Use Image. Okay, so here's our image. The last step is we need to click on Update to update this product category. Okay, so here we see we have one of the 4. Let's do the ebooks next. So once again, I'm going to click on Edit, scroll down, click on Upload, Add Image, and then Upload Files, and then Select Files. And then I need to choose the file, so I'll choose this one right here and click on Open. And then once again, we need to add a title and an alternative text. So I'll just paste the same thing in both places and click on Use Image. Finally, let's click on Update to update this category as well. Okay, 2 of the 4, we're getting the hang of this. Let's do the gear now. I'm going to click on Edit and then Upload, Add Image. And this time I'm going to use this product image that's already in the media library, so I do not need to upload anything. I'm just going to select it and click on Use Image, and then I'm going to click on this Update button. And finally, the last one, yoga t-shirts, I can click on Edit and then Upload, Add Image, and once again I'm going to use an existing image in the media library, so I'm just going to select it and click on Use Image. Finally, we just need to click on Update to update this category. So there we go. Now we have our 4 different products in our product category. Now note that on the side here it says that we have there's an ebook, we have 1 product, we have 1 product in the gear category. We don't have any products yet in the surf t-shirts category, and for that reason this will not show up even though it is ready to be showing up on the home page. It won't show up because we don't have any products yet. So let's go ahead and add 1 more product to the surf t-shirts category. So I'm going to click on Plus New and then Products, and then I'm going to call this Surf Tees or Surf Tee. Then I'm going to add this on the right hand side to the product category called Surf T-shirts. I'm going to give it a product tag of t-shirts as well as surfing and click on Add. And then I also need to add a product description here. So once again I'm just going to paste in some content right in this section here. And then the last thing, or second to last thing we need to do, or actually we do have a few more things. I'm going to click on Featured Image, Set Featured Image. I'm going to choose this image already in our product category and click on Set Featured Image. And then here on the left-hand side we can create the product data for this particular product. So once again I'll create a variable product to show you how to do that one more time. So we have variable product, I click on Attributes, and then I click on this Add button. This time I'm going to call it sizes, so I'll give different sizes, small, medium, and large. So in the values box here, I want to type in small with a pipe symbol. Once again, that's that symbol that looks like an I or an L, and it can be found on the right-hand side of the keyboard above the return key. And once you have the pipe symbol, then just add the other values for the attribute. And then I'm going to click on these 2 boxes to make sure that these attributes are visible on the product page and used for variations. Once all of the attributes are ready, go ahead and click on Save Attributes. Next, we need to add the variations, so I'm going to click on Variations down here. I'm going to add a default size. I'll make the default size a small. And then I'm going to click on this blue button, Add Variation. Starting with the small size, so I click on Small, and I'll give this a price of 40. And then I'll do the same thing for the other sizes. Click on Add Variation, click on the medium, give it a regular price of 40, and then finally the last one, Add Variation, click on Large and give it a regular price of 40, and then we just need to scroll down here, add our product short description, so I'll just add in the description I had before, at least the first sentence right here, short description. And then finally at the bottom I'm going to click on the layout to be once again the full width layout. So it looks good so far. Let's go ahead and publish this product by clicking on Publish. Okay, so when we view the product by clicking on View Product at the top, here we see here is our product. Okay, once again, it's not showing up with the related products, so one way to deal with that is to make sure that the other product, the yoga product, the yoga t-shirt I should say, needs to have a tag of t-shirts. This does have a tag of t-shirts and we can see the tags right here. However, we don't have any related products. So just as we did before, I want to go to my product screen. So I'm going to go to Dashboard right here. And I'm going to go to Products by clicking on the Products link. And a fast way to add tags to your products in your product catalog is to click on this button here that says Quick Edit. So I just clicked on the Yoga Om Tee, and we do see that it says t-shirt here as a tag, so that's good. It looks like this surf tee, what I did was I added the tag as t-shirts, plural. So we can see here that the tag here for the surf tee right here, it does say t-shirts, but it's actually plural, and this one is t-shirt singular. That's why they're not showing up together under related products. So I'm going to change the yoga t-shirt to have a plural tag called t-shirts instead of t-shirt, like that, and then I'm just going to click on Update to update this product. Now when we view the surf tee by hovering over the surf tee, and there's a link here that says View, so I can go directly to the product page, so I'm going to click on View. Now we see when I scroll down, now the related product, the other t-shirt is showing up in the related product section. Okay, so let's take a look at the home page one more time. I'm going to click on the website name, and then I'm going to scroll down, and now we see here are all the product categories, which is great. The next thing we need to do is add featured products to the home page. So currently we only have about 3 or 4 products, I believe, added to the product catalog. So I am actually going to, behind the scenes, add a bunch of other products, a bunch of other ebooks specifically to the product catalog, and then I will see you on the other side. So I've added a bunch of products to the product catalog. Now let's go ahead and add them as featured products so that they show up on the home page under the featured products section. To add featured products to the home page, we need to go to the top and click on Dashboard. And then here on the dashboard, we need to click on Products to go to the product page. So I'm going to click on Products. And then we need to choose the products that we want to have featured on the home page. So I'm going to choose all of the ebooks, and I'm going to feature all of the ebooks in the featured products section on the home page. So for each of them, I'm going to click on Quick Edit one by one. And then you see there's this featured box, so I'm going to click on Featured and click on Update. And then I'll do the same for the next ebook. Click on Quick Edit and then click on Featured and click on Update. And I'm going to do this 6 more times. So I'm going to click on the next one, Quick Edit, Featured, Update. We're getting the hang of this. The last one here, actually 4, Quick Edit. Oh, that one is already selected, so Quick Edit, and then the next one, Yoga for Stress Relief. I'm going to click on Quick Edit and then Featured and then Update. And then you want to go through that process for each of the products that you want to have featured on the home page in the featured products section. Now you can see them right here. There's a star over each of these, and you see these are all featured. So I've added a few more as featured, and you can see that my surf tee, my yoga mat, my other t-shirt, these are not checked here. They don't have stars by them, or they have a star but it's not highlighted like the other ones are. So once you have all of the products selected as featured that you want to have featured, then let's go take a look at the home page by clicking on Visit Site. So now we see here we are on our home page. We have our title and our menu. We have our image and our title. When we scroll down, we have our product categories, and we have all of the different featured products that we want to have displayed on our homepage. Now, if you'd like to add more featured product thumbnails of any products on the homepage, you can do that by increasing the number of featured items in your WooCommerce settings theme options screen. Okay, so I just want to have 8 though featured right here. So the next step is, it looks like this website is pretty good to go. Let's take a look. So we have our About page here. That looks good. We have our blog index page. It looks like we do need to add a blog post, so let's do that now. To add a blog post, You can do it in several different ways. One, you can go up to the top, hover over plus new and click on post. Or you can click on dashboard on the left-hand side here. And then on the dashboard, you can click on posts. And then once again at the top, you can click on add new. So I'm going to click on add new. And the first thing we want to do on our new blog post page or screen here is we want to give our blog post a title. So I'm going to call this the top health benefits of yoga. This will be my new blog post. And then you want to give your blog post some text or some content here. I'm going to add it to the category called blog by just clicking on blog. Once again, if you want to create a new category, you can just click on add new category and then add a category name or title and then click on add new category. You can also add some tags right here, so I'll add the tags of yoga and health and then click on add. Next, if you'd like to set a featured image to show up on the blog index page, you can set a featured image by clicking on set featured image, and then you want to click on upload files and select files. And then you can choose the image that you'd like. I'd like to choose that one, and I'll click on open. Once again, it's always a good idea to include a title and an alternative text, so I'll add something there and click on set featured image. Okay, then you can just scroll down and you can add an excerpt if you'd like, so I will do that. I'll just add the first sentence or two of this particular post, so I'll just grab that there and I'll add my excerpt. And finally, you can choose in the layout settings where you would like, right down here below, if you'd like a right-hand sidebar, a left sidebar, or no sidebar. So this is a blog post, so I do want to start including a sidebar now. So I'll click on this one here to have a right-hand sidebar. And then I'm going to scroll up to the top and click on publish to publish this blog post. So in addition to having a featured image on the blog index page, I also want to include an image on the actual blog post itself. So to do that, you want to place the cursor where you want the image to be displayed and then click on Add Media. And then I'm going to choose an image from my media library, but if you'd like to upload one from the computer, you can do so by clicking on Upload Files. Here on my media library screen though, I'm going to choose this image, this beach image right here, and I'm going to scroll down. I want the alignment to be center, so I'll click on center. I want the image to link to nothing, and I'll keep it at full size right here, and then I'll click on Insert into Post. So once you have your image in the Edit Post screen of your blog post, the other thing I want to show you is how to add a video to your blog post. So I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to add a video in the location where I'd like it to show up here on my blog post. I'm just dragging this down. So to add a video to your blog post or to your page really, you just want to place the cursor where you want to add the video, and then you need to go grab your video URL. So here we are on my YouTube channel, and I'm just going to grab a URL. Of course, this has nothing to do with yoga, but perhaps this video would be helpful to everyone as well. The top 10 WordPress plugins every website should have. So I just want to show you though how you can add a video to the website. So this is just as a demo. So you just grab the URL, you just highlight and copy the URL, and then you just want to go back to your blog post and you want to paste in the URL in the blog post where you want the video to show up. So I'm just going to paste the URL there. When I scroll down, we can see here is the URL of the video. Once you have everything set here on the post page, you can once again update it by clicking on Update. Once the post is updated or published, go ahead and click on View Post to view the post. Here on the blog post page, you'll have the blog post title, some information about the blog post, and then you'll have the post itself. So we see here's the image, then I have my text, and then here is the video. So there's quite a few empty spots here though. We see that we need to add the footer at the bottom here, and then on the right hand side we're also missing the sidebar. So let's add the sidebar as well as the footer area now. To do that, you want to go up to the top, click on Dashboard, and then here on the dashboard screen, the next step is you want to hover over Appearance on the left-hand side and click on Widgets. The widgets give you a way to add customizable content, pretty much any kind of content that you want on the sidebar and in the footer. So we see here we have a primary sidebar and then we have our footer sections here. So let's start by adding some content to the primary sidebar. So keeping in mind this is an e-commerce website, I want to make sure that it's really easy for anyone who visits to find my products. So I want to start by giving a product search field at the top. So I'm going to search for, here we see, here's the WooCommerce product search widget. So I'm going to grab this and drag it to the top into the primary sidebar. And then I'll just drop it right there, and I'll add a little title here, search for products. And then I'll click on save. And the next thing that I want to do is I want to add some of my featured products. So I'm going to scroll down and look for the WooCommerce featured products. Let's see where those are located. Right here. Here it says WooCommerce featured products. So once again, I'm going to drag that up to the top as well and then release it. And here I might want to just call it featured products. And I'll add 3 products. I'll just change the number here and click on save. And the last thing that I want to add is the category section. So the different categories, since I have 4 different categories. So here it is, WooCommerce product categories. So I'll drag that one up as well. And then underneath the featured products, I'll just release it and I'll add the word product categories. Okay, then you can order the product categories by the category order or by the name. So I will just order them by product name, and then I'll click on save to save these settings. So the next thing that we can do is we can also add some content to the footer area, and looking at our demo over here, this is where we are headed. So in the footer area, I want to add some custom menu items right here, and then I want to add some social icons so anyone can connect with me on the social web, and then I want to add an email opt-in form so anyone can easily sign up for my email, my weekly email. So let's go about creating the custom menu first, and then we can add it to the footer section. So going back to our website, I'm going to scroll up here and go to menu. So here where it says appearance on the left hand side, I'm going to click on menus. And then at the top we see we have our top menu and our regular primary menu, but I need to create another custom menu. So I'm going to click on plus, and then right here I'm going to call this my footer menu. So just add in footer menu and click on create menu. And then as we did before for the menu items, we need to select the items that we want and drag them into this area here. So the first one I want is I want about, blog, and contact, and I also want shop and cart. So I'm going to add all of these different items to my menu. We also might want to add a press page or a FAQ, frequently asked questions page. So I'm just going to add these right here and click on add to menu. And then once again I'm going to organize these or reorder them the way I want them to be displayed. So I want the about to come first, and then perhaps the blog, and then the contact, and the cart and shop will come after that. And then also for the about menu link, I actually want to call it about the website. So I'll just add in the website right there, and then I'll click on save menu. Okay, so here is my menu. Now let's go back to the widgets by clicking on widgets on the left hand side, clicking on widgets. Then for footer 1, 2, 3, and 4, you see that we have 4 different widgets, but I'm actually going to configure this so that there's only 3 widget sections in the footer. So here for footer number 1, I want to open it up so we can see it, and then here on the left hand side under available widgets, I want to choose custom menu and drag this over. And then here I can choose which menu I want. So I can choose the menu, the top menu, or the footer menu. I want the footer menu, so I'm going to leave it as that. And then I'm also going to give this custom menu a title. So I'll just call it once again the title of the website, and then click on save to save this menu. So now let's go to the website and check it out. I'm going to go to the top and click on visit site, and then I'm going to click on blog. And here we see now we have my blog index page right here with my different blog posts. We have this one as the default. We'll have to delete this later, but I'll leave it there for now. And then here on the right hand side, you see here we have the sidebar content info showing up. And now at the bottom we also have our first footer section right here, and we have 2 more to go. So to add the next one, which are the simple social icons, and once again this is where we're headed, we're going to add connect on the web icons as well as the sign up form. So let's add the simple social icons now. So going back to the website, I'm going to go back up to the dashboard and click on dashboard, and then on the left hand side this time I'm going to click on plugins, And at the top, I'm going to click on Add New. Then here in the search field, I'm going to do a search for the simple social icons and click on Search Plugins. And here we see it's the first one, so I'm just going to click on Install Now. Are you sure you want to install this? Yes, okay. Okay, so once the plugin has been successfully installed, go ahead and click on Activate Plugin to activate the plugin. Next, once the plugin has been activated, we want to go back to Appearance and Widgets, and then on the right-hand side in footer number 2, we want to find the simple social icons right here, and we want to drag this to footer number 2. Here you can add a title in this particular social icon section, so I'll just call it Connect on the Web. And then you can set the size, the border radius, the alignment. I'm going to keep these all as they are, but I am going to change the background color and the hover color. So staying consistent with the orange in the website, the orange that we saw for the default style sheet for this particular website, I am going to create the background color to be the same color as that, which I happen to know is this code right here. I'll post this in the event that you want to use the orange color as well. But we see I just added the background color and the background hover color, and then you want to add the URL for all the different social networks that you want to have featured in the footer within this simple social icons section. So for example, I want to include my Twitter, and I also want to include my YouTube, so I'll just drop that in there and change Twitter to YouTube. And let's see, I also want to add my Pinterest, so I'll add that in there as well. And then finally, I think I'll also add my Google+. So I don't really remember my Google+ off the top of my head, but I'm just going to put a URL in here. Of course, you want to choose your actual Google+ URL. You want to add that in here, and always make sure that it starts with http://. So I'm just adding it so that it shows up as an icon, but of course this is going to go to the top level Google+ page, not to my personal page. But since I don't remember the number off the top of my head, I'm just going to leave it like that. And we see that I do have the URLs for my other social networks here. So once you're ready to go ahead and click on Save to save your changes. Okay, so now let's take a look at it by clicking on Visit Site. Now when I scroll to the bottom, you'll see that I have the custom menu on the left-hand side. I have my Connect on the Web social icons. And the last thing is we need to add our email opt-in form. So in the essence of time, I've created a separate video regarding how to add an email opt-in form to your WordPress website. So I'll leave that link here in this video so you can check this email opt-in form video out as well. So specifically in this video, I'll be showing you how to install and set up the Magic Action Box plugin, as well as how to set up a free MailChimp account to start collecting the emails that you'll be getting on your website. So I encourage you to check this out. In the meantime, I've already gone and added this plugin to the website. Once again, step by step, you can check out that other video and you'll be caught up with how you can add this right here. So I do want to point out though, now that this is here, note that there's a special customization to this particular theme specifically regarding removing these lines, for example, and you notice that, I'm not sure if you can see it, but the shade of this gray is slightly different from the other shade. So once you check out the other video and set up this email form here, then we'll come back to this video and then we'll continue with customizing this box. So that is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to customize this box. To do that, I'm going to go up to the top and click on Dashboard. And then here on the dashboard screen, I'm going to go to the Magic Action Box settings and click on Styles and Buttons. And then I'm going to click on Edit My Style right here by clicking on Edit. And then here on the General tab, you'll note that the background color of the form box is this code that says F5, F5, F5. So the code we actually need is F7, F7, F7. It's just a slightly different variation of the gray. And then in order to remove that border around the box, I'm just going to make this border 0 pixels, and then I'll come to the bottom here and click on Save Style. So now when we go to the home page to check out that form, I'm going to click on Visit Site. And now when I scroll down, you'll see that the border has been removed, and now the background of this form is the same as the rest of the footer. So it looks a lot better. So anyway, I encourage you to check out that video, and once you've done that, you should be up to speed and have your email sign-up form here in the footer. So let's take a look at the other pages on our site. So we've added the blog index page. I'm going to click on that here. There we go. And when I click on this blog post, the other thing that we need to do here, so we have our blog post in our sidebar. We also now have our footer area. And also note that because I just added the magic action box, we now have this extra box here, this other call to action, inviting everyone to sign up directly in your blog post, inviting them to sign up for your email list right under your blog post. So again, if you watch that other video, then you'll know exactly how to add this as well. So the other thing I want to add here is I want to add some social sharing icons so that everyone can easily share my blog post via Facebook and YouTube and other social networks. And I also want to add a more social comment system right here. So what we need to do now is we need to go up to the dashboard once again by clicking on dashboard. And then we're going to add a plugin by clicking on plugins. And then at the top, click on add new to add a new plugin. And the plugin we're looking for is called Jetpack. So I'm going to do a search for Jetpack and click on search plugins. And then here we see it's the first one. It's called Jetpack by WordPress.com. So I'm going to click on install now. Are you sure you want to install this? Yes, okay. And once the plugin has been successfully installed, go ahead and click on this link that says Activate Plugin. So, okay, your Jetpack is almost ready. A connection to WordPress.com is needed to enable features. So we need to connect to WordPress.com. So I'm going to click on this button here that says Connect to WordPress.com. And here on the next screen, now Jetpack will ask if you authorize the plugin to connect with your website and with WordPress.com. So now you need to sign in with your WordPress.com username and password. And if you do not yet have a WordPress.com account, it's free. So you can just create an account by clicking on this link here that says Need an Account. Here on the WordPress.com website, you'll need to just add in your email address, a username, and add your password. And you can also create a blog address if you'd like. But given that we're creating our own website, most likely you do not need a blog address because we already have a blog. So I would bypass this route, and instead there's a small sentence down here, and it says if you do not want a blog, you can simply sign up for just a username. So I would recommend that you click on this link that says sign up for just a username. And here you can add your email address, your username, and your password, and then click on sign up here to sign up for a WordPress.com free account. Okay, so I already have a WordPress.com account, so I'm just going to add my username and password, and then I'm going to click on this button to authorize Jetpack. Once you've also created your WordPress.com account, come back to this page and also add in your username and password and click on authorize Jetpack. Okay, you're fueled up and ready to go. The features below are now active. So you can check out all these different features. These are tons of different features that you can now add to your WordPress website. But the two specifically that we want are the sharing features and the comment features. So here's the sharing features right here. So I'm going to click on Configure to configure these features. And here we are on the sharing settings screen. So you just want to scroll down. Here we see all the available services, and you just want to drag and drop them into this enabled services box to enable these services. So for example, I want to add Google+, so I'll just drag that down, and I want to add Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And then in the More button over here, I'm going to add Pinterest, Tumblr, I'll add email, and I'll also add Reddit. You can add the others as well, but I just want to show you these right here. And also notice there's a live preview button so you can see how your icons will look when they're actually being displayed on your website. So the next thing is you can configure these areas, including where you want the buttons to show. So show the buttons on, and you can choose where on the website you want them to show. I prefer just keeping them on the blog post screen, so I'm just going to click on post, but if you want them to show up on pages or anywhere else, feel free to click that right here. Last, you just want to click on Save Changes to save the changes. Okay, once the sharing settings have been saved, we're not quite done with Jetpack. We want to click on Jetpack one more time, so I'm going to click on it right here. And the next thing that we want to add are the comments. So I'm going to scroll down. Here we see Jetpack comments are listed, and it says a new comment system that has integrated social media login options. So I'm going to click on Activate to activate the Jetpack comments. Okay, so Jetpack comments have been activated. The one last one that I want to show you that I'm not going to use, but I want to show you because I really love it, is this carousel feature. And when I click on Learn More, it'll tell you more about it, but it says with carousel, you can basically create galleries, really cool galleries and light boxes for your images. So if you're going to be creating an image gallery or adding photographs to a gallery in any way, then I definitely recommend that you check out this carousel within Jetpack. All you have to do is click on Activate and it'll pretty much take care of everything for you. So I have other videos demonstrating how this carousel works, so be sure to check out the other videos related to the carousel. Okay, so I'm just going to come up and I'm going to check out the website by going to Visit Site. And now when I go to the blog page by clicking on Blog and then scrolling down and clicking on this blog post, now we see when I scroll down underneath the blog post, we have the social icons right here where anyone can now very easily share your blog post to Google, to LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and to other social networks. And we also see now here's the comment section, and when I click in here, there's going to be additional social integrated sign-in options for anyone who wants to comment. So there we go. I think we're pretty much ready to go. Let's take a look at the cart page by clicking on Cart. And here we have the cart page. Now note that there's a sidebar here. On the cart page, I really don't want to have a sidebar. It's a little bit distracting, and I want to make sure that anyone who wants to buy something on my site really is just focused on the cart, not on the sidebar. So I'm going to remove the sidebar by going up to Edit Page, and then I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, and here where it says Layout, right now we're displaying a right-hand sidebar. I'm going to click on this box so that there's no sidebar on the page. It's just a full width page, and then I'm going to scroll up to the top and click on Update. So now when I view the page by clicking on View Page, now we see that the sidebar isn't there and the whole page looks looks cleaner and more simple. Okay, I want to do the same thing with the shop page, so I'm going to click on Shop, and actually it looks like the shop page looks good. It's just there's no sidebar, so that's great. So here we are on the home page of our WordPress e-commerce responsive website, and we can see that we're almost ready to go. So we're almost done. We've got just a few more steps to do. So let's set up the shipping as well as the payment options. Those are the two remaining steps for our website. So to do that, I'm going to go up to the top, click on Dashboard. And here on the dashboard, the next step is we need to go to the WooCommerce settings. So I'm going to hover over WooCommerce and click on Settings, and here we see we're on the General tab. So the first thing we need to do is change the location. So note that it's currently the UK. Go ahead and choose whatever country you are in. I'm going to click on this and choose California and the US. So I'm going to scroll down here and click on United States, California, and then of course I'll change the currency from pounds to US dollars. So I'm just going to scroll down, choose US dollars. Allowed countries, all countries, that looks good. Enable the use of coupons, that looks great. Everything else looks good. I'm going to come to the bottom. We've already gone over the downloadable products options, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on Save Changes. So once the general options have been saved, the next step is we need to set up the payment gateways. So at the top, I'm going to click on Payment Gateways, and here we are on the Payment Gateways page. So note that there are these purple check boxes right here. These are all the currently active payment methods. I actually, in this video, I'm just going to use PayPal just for simplicity. So I'm going to make sure that PayPal is selected as the default, which it is right here. I'm going to click on this button and click on Save Changes. And then here I need to disable or turn off these other payment methods. So I'm going to go up to BACS here, this link, and click on that. Then I'm going to uncheck this to disable bank transfer, turn it off. Scroll down and click on Save Changes. Now if you want to enable any of these, go ahead and check them, but for the purpose of this demo, I am going to turn them off. So I'm going to turn off check as well, so I'm clicking on check. and then I'm going to uncheck this box to disable the check payment, and then I'll click on Save Changes. Finally, on the PayPal link over here, I'm going to click on PayPal, and I want to make sure that this is enabled, so this should be checked if you're using PayPal, and then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to add my PayPal email and the receiver email. So I'm going to add in my email right here, and then the receiver email. Then I'm going to scroll down, and if you have the PayPal sandbox box checked, then it's a good idea to uncheck it because this is related to testing payments. So I don't want to check any payments right now or test any payments. So I'm going to uncheck it and click on Save Changes. Okay, so it looks like for some reason this just disabled it. I had it checked and it unchecked this. I'm going to click this one more time. I want to enable the PayPal standard right there. That's checked. I'm going to scroll down and click on Save Changes. Okay, so the Enable PayPal Standard is checked, it is saved. I'm going to click on Payment Gateways one more time just to look everything over, and it looks great. So here we see everything is turned off except for PayPal. So our payment gateways are good to go. The next step is we need to configure shipping. So I'm going to click on Shipping right here. And here we are on the shipping options page. So keeping in mind that most of the products so far are ebooks, and ebooks are downloadable, so there's no shipping. And then also keeping in mind that in general, it's always a good idea if you're able to offer free shipping, because it's one less obstacle that a customer has to consider to buy your product. So whenever possible, it's a good idea in general to offer free shipping if you can. So in this particular demo, I'm going to set up free shipping, and to do that, I'm going to make sure, first of all, that the shipping method default right here is set to free shipping. And then, because it's free, we know that what the price is. There's no price, it's zero. So there's no need for a shipping calculator. So I'm going to disable the shipping calculator by unchecking this box. And then I'm going to scroll down here and click on Save Changes. Once the shipping options have been saved, you just want to make sure you go through each of these different screens and make sure they're not enabled. So we see here that the only shipping method that is enabled is purple, but if you happen to see that flat rate has a purple check, or maybe these other types of shipping method has a purple check, that means they're enabled, and to turn them off you need to go to the actual screen by clicking on the link for it. So I'm going to click on flat rate as an example, and here you see here it is unchecked. So if you see that this is checked, you want to uncheck it, and once again that's also if you want to offer free shipping. So here we are on the flat rate screen, so this one should be not enabled. So it's not enabled here, there's no check. So I'm just going to come down here, click on Save Changes, and check out the other screen. So I'm going to click on free shipping, and here we see this is enabled. There's a checkbox, so that's good. International delivery, this is not enabled, so that's good. I don't want that right now. If you do want it, then this is the page you would come to. You would click on this box, and then you would configure all the different international delivery options. Just a side note, I'm not going to cover product shipping classes in this video. I'll create another video related to shipping classes, but I just want to point out if you do want to have different shipping rates for different products within your product catalog within your WordPress website, then you need to take a look on the WooThemes documentation page on product shipping classes. So as it notes here, it says product shipping classes allow you to group similar products for shipping. So they work much in the same way as products and post categories. So here when you scroll down, there's an example that says, example, you may sell both bookmarks and books. Books cost more to ship, so you place them in a shipping class called book and assign rates respectively. So for example, on your website, if you want to offer ebooks for free download, which would make sense because there's no shipping, it's downloadable, and if you want to offer flat rate shipping with some positive price that's not free, then you'd have to create different shipping classes. And I'll leave the link for this particular page on WooThemes in the video, but it really guides you how you need to do that. You basically need to add a shipping class by going to WooCommerce Products Shipping Classes and creating the different classes with the different prices. And then you need to go to each product and you need to edit products one by one, and you need to select the shipping class for the product when you're in the Edit Product page. So in the product data section of the Edit Product page, you need to actually select the shipping class for that specific product. So anyway, that's just a heads up on shipping classes. It gives you lots of different features for shipping rates for products in your product catalog. Okay, so I'm glad we just touched upon shipping classes. Let's go back to our video. And then last, you have local delivery and local pickup. So you just want to make sure that these are also not enabled, unless, of course, you want them. So it's not enabled, so that's good. And local pickup should not be enabled either, and it's not. So okay, so we're good to go. I'm going to click on shipping options one more time. And here we see we're all good to go on our shipping options. The only option we have is free shipping right here. So let's take a look at the website. I'm going to go up to the top, click on Visit Site, and here we have our website. So let's go through the actual buying process or shopping process that a potential customer may have when they come to this website. So let's go ahead and check out a product. I'm going to buy this or add this particular product to the cart by clicking on this Yoga for Beginners ebook. And here we see we're on the product page for this ebook. So we have the thumbnail, the title, the price. We now see that it's in dollars, not in pounds. There's a short description and then the call to action, add to cart. And then when I scroll down, here is the first chapter embedded in the product page. Then just below that, there's all these different related products. So okay, I'm going to add this to the cart by clicking on Add to Cart. And okay, this ebook was successfully added to your cart. I can view cart or I can continue shopping. I'm going to order one more thing here. This time I'm going to order this yoga mat. So I'm going to click on this yoga mat right here. And here we see here I'm on the physical product right here. So I have an option of different colors, so I can click on this and choose whichever color I want. I'll keep it with orange, and then I'll add this one to the cart as well by clicking on Add to Cart. Okay, so once this has been successfully added to the cart, we can view the cart by clicking on View Cart. And here are the two items in the cart. There'll be a thumbnail image, the title, the price, the quantity, and then the total. And then down below you'll have your cart total. So we see the cart subtotal right now is $45. There's free shipping, so the order total is $45. So note that we can also apply a coupon here if we'd like. So let me show you how to create a coupon for your website. So to create a coupon, I'm going to go up to the top, click on Dashboard. Then here on the dashboard, I'm going to go to the WooCommerce. I'm going to hover over WooCommerce, and you see there's a link here for coupons. So I'm going to click on Coupons. And here on the Coupons page, we can add a new coupon by clicking on this link at the top that says Add Coupon. So the first thing we need to do is give our coupon a coupon code. So I'll just call this Summer Fun. And then you can give the coupon a description. This is optional if you'd like. There are several different discount types. When you click on this, you see that you can create a cart discount, a cart percentage discount, a product discount, or a product percentage discount. I'll keep it at cart discount, and then you can add your coupon amount. So I'll make this $5 by just putting a 5 there. And then you notice that when you scroll down, there's all these other settings that you can check and you can configure or add or enable in order to really drill down on what kind of coupon you're creating. So is it for a certain product? Do you want to exclude products, certain product categories, exclude categories? There's a lot of detail here that you can really narrow down on what this coupon is for. So I'm just going to keep it pretty simple. Just create a straight across the board $5 coupon off the total order and click on Publish. And now the coupon has been created. So going back to our website, our WordPress website, here when I see I have 2 items in the cart for $45, and to check out, or actually what I need to do now is I need to apply the coupon. So I'm going to click on this View Your Shopping Cart icon. I could also click on this cart button over here, and here you see once again here we are on the cart page. So right here I'm going to apply the coupon by adding in the coupon right here, Summer Fun, and then clicking on Apply Coupon. And the coupon has been applied successfully, and now we see when I scroll down, the order, which was $45, now has a $5 discount, so the order total is $40. Okay, that looks good, so I'm going to now click on this button, Proceed to Checkout. So here we are on the checkout page, and note that we have a right-hand sidebar, and as mentioned, I'm not a big fan of having sidebars on my checkout page because the customer is just about ready to place their order and then there's other distractions. So I want to remove the sidebar from the checkout page. So to do that, I'll go up to the top and click on Edit Page. And then I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom, and where it says Layout, I'm going to choose this box here for the full width layout. Then I'm going to scroll up to the top and click on Update to update the checkout page. Okay, to view the page, I'm just going to click on View Page. And here we see the checkout page looks much better. It's much cleaner, it's more simple, there's no distractions anymore, and the focus is simply on checking out, which is great. Okay, so a customer would then just add their billing address and their shipping address. They would scroll down, review the contents of their order and the order details, and then as we see PayPal is enabled, they would just click on Place Order. They would be sent to PayPal where they can either log in with their PayPal account and pay via PayPal, or if they do not want to pay via PayPal, or if they don't have an account on PayPal, they can simply log in as a guest and pay with their credit card or their debit card. So the good news is, even if you do use PayPal, a customer does not have to have a PayPal account. They can just sign up as a guest and pay directly with their credit card. So that is how they would place their order. So back on our homepage, this is how you set up the MyStyle free responsive e-commerce WordPress website by Woo Themes. It's a gorgeous website, it's minimalist, it has a really great design, there's lots of focus on the images and the products themselves, and in this video we went over specifically how to set up ebooks. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and hope it was helpful. If you have any friends who also are looking for a free, responsive e-commerce theme using WordPress, then please feel free to share this video with your friends. Also, keep in mind I'll be coming out with new videos on WordPress, online marketing, and building a business online. So if you enjoyed this video and want to be updated on future videos, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.